Hey everyone, hope you're all doing amazing. Just wanted to record a quick video to essentially give you a breakdown on how our appointment setting process looks for SaaS companies, essentially B2B SaaS companies. And this is the same process that we've used within our own agency to book around 20 to 25 qualified meetings every single month, right? So what we do is we essentially kind of divide this into two different channels. One is the content, which is more of a sophisticated process. You don't directly ask for the sale, you're slowly nurturing your ideal customers. With outbound prospecting, on the other hand, it's more of a straightforward approach. You scrape leads on Apollo, SalesNav, Crunchbase. You send out emails, you get interested prospects, and then you essentially book in demos, right? There's another component that we add within our outbound prospecting channel, which I'll get into later down in the video. So let's start out with content, which is more of a sophisticated approach to get in demos or essentially to get interested people to get on calls with, right? So what we do is we divide this into two different channels. One is video-based and one is text-based. With video-based, you have YouTube and Instagram. With text, you have Twitter and LinkedIn, right? So again, it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a solution. I'd say each company has its own platform per se. So for example, let's say you are a fitness SaaS, you help people with their fitness, with their diet, etc. Probably LinkedIn wouldn't be the best platform for you to double down, right? Another example would be, let's say you're in the B2B space, you sell sales automation softwares for agency owners, right? Instagram wouldn't be the best option because most agency owners, most people in the business sphere are hanging out on Twitter and LinkedIn. So it depends on which platform kind of fits well with your company or your brand. So once we figure that out, we start posting content, right? YouTube is something that's predominant. We use it across all of our clients. And the basic point of utilizing these channels is to build a social proof, is to portray yourself as an authoritative figure, and also to get people onto your email list, right? So with YouTube, it's a pretty simple process. You start posting content. It can be educational content, testimonials, it can be product demonstrations, etc. And then in the description, you add in a link where people can sign up to your newsletter, where it's a private community of people where you share more valuable info. The same thing can be done with Instagram and Facebook. I'll give you a quick example, right? So what you could do is leverage lead magnets. So coming back to the same example, which is email automation softwares. For example, let's say you are in the B2B space and you're selling a software for agency owners. You can probably create a lead magnet that's so valuable for people that they would exchange their email addresses in return for the document, right? So a good example would be selling, let's say a document that helps agency owners book 100 plus meetings every single month. You're giving that lead magnet out for free, but in turn, you're collecting their phone numbers, first name, email addresses, so that you can later on retarget them through your newsletter or your email lists, right? Same thing can be done on Twitter and LinkedIn. There are a couple of different channels you can use on Twitter, auto DMs, newsletters. So essentially, it's pretty much the same process. You're posting content, and at the end, you have a call to action where people can sign up to your newsletters, to your email lists, or if they want to access the lead magnet, they can give their contact information. You can kind of create a two-step forum where you host the lead magnet on a third-party website. People give you their phone numbers, first names, and email addresses. Once you give that, you email them the copy to their email IDs, right? So once you build your lists, you can start retargeting all of these customers, which is more of a laser target approach. You're not just blasting out content, into ether. Now you're specifically targeting your customers. You know where you're getting these customers from, and you know what their requirements are, right? So the quality of leads are way, way, way higher when it comes to email lists because they're clearly committed onto something, right? They've either given their IDs, they've given their phone numbers, or any valuable information. So once you build a list, again, the process is pretty much similar to content. You post, you send out content based on education, how people can use your products. This is one thing which I've seen many B2B owners get it wrong. 90% of the time, their product is so sophisticated, they don't do a good enough job to actually educate their customers on how the product actually works, right? They're so focused on product development, they don't kind of realize that the customer with an average IQ is not going to understand just by going to the website and looking up your products online, right? You have to create specific copies either through email, either through content to educate your customers on how your products work. Because at the end of the day, you work 2 to 3 years on your product, and the product from a bird's eye view is so sophisticated. a customer or an ideal customer for that matter, just looking at your product, at your software for the first time is not going to understand how the product works. So you should start shooting educational content and then social proof and credibility. In 2023, there are easily 100 plus other companies. It can be in the narrowest niches as possible. You'll still find 100 plus companies that are doing the same thing that you're doing, right? So if you're not establishing a sense of social proof or credibility, it's very, very difficult for you to scale in the long run, right? So that's about a content that's more on the brand awareness side and the educational side. Now coming to product pitches, right? This is where our element of cold calling comes in picture. So once you build a list, you clearly have a pool of 100, 200, 300, 400 people of interested prospects, right? So once you're done with the educational part, you can start pitching your products once or twice a month. You're giving a discount to your email lists so that they kind of feel that they're more valuable than the rest of the crowd because they're the only ones that are getting access to the specific discounts, right? So you do product pitches, and what we have seen work well, I mean, this is the issue that we have had internally within our agency also, right? So let's say, for example, you send out 100 emails to your ideal customers. 10 to 15 of them get back by saying, I'm interested to learn more. You send over information, but probably 1 or 2 book a call. The rest, 10 to 13 people kind of ghost you, right? So that's kind of where we were stuck at too, right? We were sending a lot of emails on a daily basis. We used to get a lot of interested replies, but once we send over information, not many of them would get back to us. So what we started doing was cold calling, and this is the same process that we have implemented for other clients also, and it has been a game changer. We've literally 10x'd our booking rates, right? So there are a couple of ways we do this. So what we do is once you send out emails and once you get an interested reply, it's better to have 2 to 3 appointment setters or sales development reps in-house, or you can outsource cold calling also. But anyways, it's necessary to have 2 to 3 people who can directly call in your interested leads. There are a couple of ways you can do this. I'll show you how you can actually collect these phone numbers and how to essentially build your own cold calling team, right? So for starters, what we do is once you get an interested reply, you go to LinkedIn, you look the person up. Since you're in the B2B space, it's highly likely that they're on LinkedIn, right? So what you do is you install a software called as Contact Out. This helps you find anybody's email addresses and their phone numbers. So what you do is once you open their profile, you don't have to be connected with them. You don't have to even follow them for that matter, right? So you just open their profile. You just go and click on the extension. It'll give you 2 fields. One is for email addresses and the other one is for phone numbers. I'll give you 2 phone numbers, just copy it and you just give it to your SDRs and you just cold call them, right? This is something that has worked really well for us. And at the end of the day, if you're doing what everybody else is doing, in their outbound prospecting methods or in their content, you're going to go back in the line, right? There's no factor of differentiation at all. So cold calling kind of becomes more personal, right? Because remember, the ideal customer that you're targeting is probably getting pitched 10 to 15 times a day, right? And if you're the only one that's actually cold calling them, they find themselves more valuable. So it's highly likely that they're going to book in a call with you and purchase your products. So what we do is you collect phone numbers, you cold call them. So cold calling shouldn't be done by you. There are higher leverage activities that you as a business owner should do. So there are a couple of softwares that we've used within our own agency. We've utilized their services and this works best. I'm not trying to pitch you anything. I'm not affiliated to this particular agency, but they do a great job, and we've hired people from them, and they're amazing at the work that they do. So what we do is you go on to automated revenue. You book in a call essentially with their sales team. They'll essentially install an appointment setter. On a 45-day guarantee basis, you get people, you get cold callers for free who are experienced. These are not boomers. They're not trying to learn from you. They've already worked with other companies in the past, so they're good at the craft that they do, right? So you get on call with them. I think it's more of a commission-based pricing, so they charge you per call booked, but I'm telling you it's totally worth it. So what you do is you scrape leads through LinkedIn. Once you scrape leads through LinkedIn, once you scrape phone numbers through LinkedIn, you collect their phone numbers, you collect their email addresses also if you want access to their personal Gmail accounts. So once you do that, you hand it over to your sales development reps, let them talk to the prospect a bit more in detail and explain how your process kind of looks like in a nutshell. And if they're interested, book them on a call and then close them, right? the quality of the leads are going to be way, way higher because you've had more of a personal touch, more of a personal interaction, with these leads. So that's pretty much the same process that we use for outbound prospecting also. So what we do is you scrape leads through Apollo, Sales, Snap, Crunchbase. You send out emails. Once you cold email, you get a bunch of interested replies. What people usually do is once they get a bunch of interested replies, they have a sales deck. They have a template that they send over to the interested prospects, and they just stop at that, right? They don't follow up, they don't cold call them, they don't do nothing, and they're losing out on thousands of dollars every time they follow this mechanism because they're not nurturing them, they're just sending over the info. And remember, keep in mind, 10 to 15 different companies are pretty much doing the same thing every day. So having cold calling part of your sales process is really going to boost your booking rate. This is something that we've implemented within the agency, right? We've literally 10x the amount of interested people that actually book in meetings with our sales team. So make sure you implement this. Again, if you're if you're a founder and you're trying to juggle all of these at once, it's definitely not going to be viable for you. So it's better that you hire commission-based people so that you're hiring quality content and you're only paying them once they actually end up generating results for you. So scrape your phone numbers through LinkedIn, hand it over to your sales development reps, cold call, and then book demos. It's ideally better that if you have a dedicated sales team to do this, but you can hire a few cold callers to start out with, and you can close the prospects on Zoom or Google Meet once they book in a call. So I think that's pretty much the same process that we use within our agency, and I just wanted to record this to give you how this would actually work, because I've been on calls with a bunch of founders and none of them actually cold call their interested prospects. So it was kind of startling. So I just decided to record this video. So I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this was valuable, and see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.